Welcome back to Cody Builds. On today's episode, we are working on yet another truck project here. New project for Dad. 1968 GMC C20. This one's gonna be a fun one, guys. This truck's a little bit of a time capsule. Dad's working on getting some tires changed out. They've got the original split rims, bias ply tires. They are rough. So we're just gonna work to get this out of this storage shed and back to our shop where we can really start to dive into this thing. It's not gonna be so much of a will it run because we were told this thing ran when it was parked. So we think all we're gonna have to do is throw a battery in this thing, throw a little gas down the carb, put the new tires on, and get this thing out of here and back to Dad's shop. Dad and Jeff are here helping me out today. They're working on tires right now. I'm gonna hop under the hood here. I'm gonna start working on getting the battery put in. We're gonna see if we can get this truck fired up. All right, so we're gonna throw some new battery ends on these cables. They've been converted to side post cables at some point in time. You can see these are pretty rough. Eventually we're gonna need to replace these cables, but for now, we can get by just putting some new ends on and get this truck out of here. Oh boy, we're gonna be stretched. Okay, we haven't let the smoke out yet, so that's good.
You got power?
Well, we got a battery hooked up.
Power?
You just click it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, but you didn't,
No,
because it didn't do anything.
No,
It just-
I stopped.
Okay.
I should have told you I was going to do it.
Okay, no, that's all right. I mean, we can throw a little gas in the carb and see if it fires. He says it's gonna go, so.
Okay, you want this thing on the ground then?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Also, learning my lesson from the International.
Don't stand in front.
Yeah, probably need somebody in the truck.
It's a manual instead of neutral.
Yeah, that's okay. I still.
I think Cody's a little bent yet. Can't blame him.
Battery's in. We're gonna throw a little fuel in the tank, a little fuel in the carb, see if this thing will go. Supposedly it will. No reason not to believe Denny, the original owner of the truck here. Look how clean this thing is, guys. I mean, all the original wiring, just everything beautifully clean under here. This truck is gonna clean up so good. I'm really excited for this one. Really straightforward, just manual brake truck, no power steering, so manual steering, manual brakes. This is gonna be a fun little project. Perfect for the cold season. Rain-X. Yeah, we used to have a Rain-X can that everyone who worked in that shop knew that it was not Rain-X, it was gasoline. So today we're gonna be giving her a shot of vitamin C. I'll take that.
Does
That's
not
not a negative, is it?
Does it sound like an old six-cylinder? Yeah. Like an old straight six? It can be different sounding than a straight six, doesn't it?
All right, I'm gonna throw a little bit of gas down the yap, and you wanna see if it'll fire? Yeah? Yeah, it is.
Ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Choke out, Bruce.
Yep.
Is it down here? This one? No, over there. Up on top. Yes, that is. Yeah, that one.
Let me give it a little more fuel. Probably just fired off that little bit of fuel I dumped in there. Open the choke back up. All right, give that a shot.
Right?
Yep. It's gonna take it a minute to pump fuel up. Warm up a little bit. Hey, it runs great. All right. So we just got one more tire to switch out here. We wanted to get it out of the corner, but man, this thing's awesome. I love it. Runs great. Needs an exhaust system, but we're gonna get this thing in the light. We're gonna do a full review on this truck, but man, how cool is the interior in this thing? Unfortunately, there was some rogue painting done here. Got this, they were gonna switch everything over to black apparently, but still got a lot of the green interior in here. Looks really cool.
Let me mess with that mirror over there.
I don't, yeah, you can. It's actually not bad.
Really rich.
Yeah. Oh, right at the end, huh? No brakes.
No brake?
No brakes. Yeah, we got no brakes here. That's all right. We're gonna just take it nice and easy. This is a sweet little truck. So I don't know how many of you may have seen in the news back during the fall about a grain bin collapse. Looked like it straight out of a movie. A lot of people thought the video was AI. That grain bin is my hometown. We're gonna go right past that location here. Probably one of the most exciting things to ever happen in my town. Not really a great thing, but thankfully nobody was hurt. You're gonna see we're gonna drive past some concrete bins after these steel bins. And this bin right here, this very last bin here is the one that collapsed on us. I got no brakes whatsoever here. So I'm really excited for this truck. This is going to be really cool when we're done with it. It needs a lot of work, but it's actually a pretty solid truck for Central Illinois here, especially for one that was driven during the winter. I just love this green dash. I got a fuel gauge, I got oil pressure, I got a speedometer, got the battery gauge, the volt gauge. Doesn't look like we have a temp gauge, but everything else works in this truck. The V6 sound is really cool on this truck, but it's got to have some exhaust, man. It's extremely loud in the cab here. Got to get this seat fixed too. I got springs poking me hard in the back right now. All right, back at Dad's shop here, and here it is, guys, a 1968 GMC C20 two-wheel drive pickup truck. Now, this truck is in, some would say, rough shape. I say actually pretty darn good shape for Central Illinois, as I said earlier. This truck has fairly low miles, less than 100,000 miles on this truck. Primarily, it was initially used very similarly to the orange IH we have as a grain cart puller. So 3/4 ton two-wheel drive truck. They were primarily pulling grain carts with this thing. As a matter of fact, it just about got its full life's worth of pulling grain carts there. There wasn't a whole lot left on that bumper there. So this thing really only was used for a number of years just in the fall. Was not a daily driver. Interesting plot twist, guys. After filming this video, we learned that this truck might actually have some family ties. We believe that this truck was originally my cousin's grandfather's pickup truck. Now, my cousin's mom is my dad's sister, and we believe this to be his father's truck. Now, this is just a crazy coincidence, and this is just further proof that we need to fix this truck up and get it back closer to its original condition. And then eventually, in the late 80s, when Denny bought this truck, he used it just to putt around town, use it kind of as a daily driver. Got it passed down to some family for a little while. They used it for about 4 years, driving it on the road. Probably where a lot of this rust and damage actually started to happen, because this thing really didn't see too much winter action otherwise. And I think that's pretty clear if you look in the bed here. While you do see some rust and things, overall, it's actually a pretty solid Illinois truck. Obviously, the bed floor is gone. We're gonna replace all that. We got one, maybe two braces here for the floor that are a little rotted. We will get those replaced as well. But when looking at the frame, it's not even really all that scaly. Honestly, it's in pretty darn good shape. So overall, this truck, for being an Illinois truck, its whole entire life, is in really good shape. You come up here, look at the factory, the dealer badge, Kuipers from Gilman. That's here local. So this truck has been local its entire life, which is pretty darn neat. The one really disappointing thing here is that this thing got primered over. Man, it's a crime, honestly, that it's got all this primer over the top of that original green paint. I think this truck would look good two-tone again, white top with the turquoise green color, original Chevy color back on this thing. These are not the wheels we're going to use. These are just temporary to get us back in place. We've already got some steel wheels we're going to put on this thing. We're going to do those in white as well. We're going to have to come up with something different for a tailgate. This thing's pretty banged up. It does work, but it's pretty beat up. It'll get us through for now. We'll likely end up replacing that at some point in time. Now, everything we do on this truck, we're going to try and keep it somewhat original. We're not going to do too much as far as modifications on this thing. I would really like to take this thing back to looking like an old farm truck. We've got to do rocker repair. We've got to do some door repair, some cab corner repair, a little fender repair. Now, the very cool thing is Denny actually had already purchased the inner and outer rockers. So we've already got the replacement rockers for this. So we're already a step ahead on that. Mechanically, this thing runs fantastic. And let's go ahead, get the hood open here. Really clean for what this truck is. It's really original, really clean, and we want to kind of keep it that way. Dad has a big block Chevy. I was thinking maybe we should put that in this truck, but no, I think seeing the condition of this engine, the condition under the hood here, what I would like to do here is just clean this up. I don't even want to do a lot to it. It's still got the factory markings on the firewall. I really just want to clean this whole thing up, clean all the dust, dirt, and grime off it, shine up what'll shine up. I don't even really want to paint too much here. The one thing I would like to do is probably service these manifolds and have them sandblasted and Cerakoted just to preserve those manifolds and clean that look up a little bit. This whole truck needs exhaust. We're gonna have to do exhaust. Brakes, we had 0 brakes, as I said, so we're gonna have to do that. But mechanically, this truck actually runs fantastic. And there's just a few odds and ends things that we're gonna have to do. Like, we got this little air breather situation going on here. I don't know exactly what they were trying to accomplish with that. It's probably leaking oil out of there, but we'll just need to get the appropriate breather for that, clean that all up. We'll clean up some of this battery wiring here, get us some new battery cables in. There is a replacement blower already for this thing, so we'll put the new heater box blower in. Like I said, we're going to take this thing as far back to original as we can. I don't want to go too nuts on this build. This is going to be like our budget build for the channel moving forward. Getting into the interior here. Love the original interior here. We're going to do as little as we can here. Actually, we're just going to come in here and try and polish and clean a lot of this up. They did try to preserve and keep a lot of the moisture and stuff out of the cab with some tape and stuff here, just trying to keep the cold and the wet out of the cab, I would assume. But we'll see how good the floorboards are. If it's just a rocker repair, that's fantastic. If we don't have to do a bunch of floorboards, but if we do, that's okay too. I'm gonna have to figure out what we can do on the dash over here. I don't love that they tried to paint all this stuff up. It looks really bad. Again, I think they were originally thinking they'd take the whole truck to black, but man, it just sucks so bad. Like, look how beautiful and cool the patina is on this thing, and then you got that spray painted nightmare over there. So we're gonna have to work on that a little bit. Maybe that's what we'll work on this afternoon, trying to see if we can even strip some of that paint back. Otherwise, we're gonna end up having to repaint that door panel and kind of patina it to make it look more like the other panels that are in here. It's a really complete truck, guys. I mean, I can't remember seeing a farm truck that didn't have all the knobs broken off of it, didn't have a bunch of trim missing on the interior even. It's missing some stuff on the outside, which is pretty standard for an old farm truck. Obviously, we're going to have to do some seat work here. We're going to have to get some new springs probably for the back of the seat here. Looks like maybe we could get by just fixing some of these broken springs and recovering the seat. I'd like to go back with an original seat cover. This seat cover was replaced once already. You can tell this is not the original seat cover. It's just like a smooth vinyl seat cover on the bench seat here. So it originally would have looked something like this, and I'd love to take this back to this original green color on the interior. The steering wheel, a little cracked up, but that's okay. We can live with that on a budget truck, right? We can clean all this up, really just make this look as good as we can possibly make it. And it's just such a time capsule in here. It's really, really cool. Really love it. It does have the gas tank behind the seat, and we were told that was replaced sometime in the recent past, so that's probably actually in good shape. Front end here, the bumper took a couple shots. It's pretty banged up and beat up. We might be able to straighten some of that out, but really the grill's in really exceptional shape. Our marker lights here aren't all busted up. Everything is here. So we're just gonna clean this stuff up. Now we are gonna need some new trim because the trim's pretty beat up on this thing from years of use and abuse. So we'll try and source some new trim for this thing. Oh, probably didn't even mention one of the most critical things, big back window. That's very desirable in these trucks. It already has the big back window in it. So this truck has a lot going for it, being a GMC, being the right color once. I think it's really cool having this old school big block V6 in here. I'll have to do a little research and see which version of this is. I believe it's a 304. I have to go back and look. I'm throwing that number out off the top of my head. I looked this up about a month ago. I think it was a 304 and a 351 maybe. I think this is the 304. Chevy guys, don't blow me up on the spot on that one. I had to even look up to see what these things were. Now there's some really cool features on these V6 engines that are not even close to standard on a small block Chevy. One, take note of where the fuel pump is. Right up here at the top. Look at how big this water pump housing is. It's massive, and this thing's had a new water pump replaced in the last 3 years. But look at this cast iron water pump housing. That thing alone has to weigh 100 pounds. It's massive. The other thing you might notice, where the heck are the spark plugs? Well, that's interesting enough. They are actually on the inside of the intake. So all the spark plugs are on the inside of the intake. Distributor's still at the back there. Look at the height of the block on this thing. The pan is way down there. Our valve cover is all the way up here. This thing is super, super tall. It's crazy. This is one of the craziest designs I've seen in a light duty, medium duty used truck. It's just really a cool piece of history here. And I know these things were common in the larger trucks. I don't know how common they were in the C20s. I would assume fairly common. But it's just not something you see every day. And being that we're going to keep this thing fairly stock, and this thing runs so good and it's in such good condition, we're likely going to keep everything just as it is under the hood here. We're going to do as little work as we need to do on this truck. We're just going to get it running and reliable. And the first thing we need to do to make that happen is brakes. And we're not prepared for that today. We don't have what we need to make the brake work happen. Once we get Jeff's Charger out of the garage, maybe we can bring this thing up to the shop and start doing some of the metal work and some of the repair work that this truck's gonna need. Overall, I think just a really cool truck, and it's gonna make for a really cool little builder. Denny says it sat for just in his garage for like 3 years. But it hasn't been plated since 1988, so. He's doing pretty good. There you go. Oh. That's always the sketchy part in this garage. Whew. Whew. She's running real rich. Yeah, so all right, I just said we weren't gonna mess around with the paint, but we did some closer looking, and it looks like maybe only one of the fenders was really sanded on. These don't look like they've been sanded on at all. You can still see flecks of the green coming through here, and it's really thin. So we're gonna do a little three-way competition here. And we're gonna try out 3 different methods for removing this old primer to see if we can get down to this original green paint. And if the back of this is any indicator, you can see how it's just flaking off. We don't think much prep work was done on the original paint at all. So there is a chance, maybe not a great chance, but a chance that we can bring back some of this green paint. So we're gonna try 3 different methods. We're gonna do the old Comet wash here with a Scotch-Brite pad and some Comet. We're gonna try some wet sanding with some medium to high grit sandpaper, and then we're gonna try buffing one section out. So each of us, Dad's gonna do one, Jeff's gonna do one, I'm gonna do one, and we're gonna see which one gets the best results. So we're gonna go ahead and get to it, and we'll come back when we have a result, and we'll say who the winner. I feel like we should bet on this. I feel like we should bet, and the winner, I don't know what the winner should get, but the winner doesn't have to do the rest of the truck. Maybe that should be what the winner gets. So, all right, we're gonna get to work and see what might work for stripping this primer off the truck. Oh, not a good start. Broke my bottle.
I probably got a bottle over here.
Just snap that clean off. Oh, there is red under here for sure. Even just me wiping this, I can see the red coming through.
I'm already at mine.
You've already, oh yeah, look at that. Oh geez, you even got through to the green already, B.
Winning already.
I know, that's what I said. That thing just cleaned right out of there.
I think I'm finding some red.
I see some green in there.
I see some green. I think the red's on top of the green.
I think it is.
That's what I'm seeing.
Sorry.
Hey, keep your shit off my
Might be giving you advantage. I'm getting my polish in your paint. I'd say just be careful on your green spots once they come through. I'm gonna be the big loser here. I can see this already. I think there are one, so there's the primer on top, and then there's a layer of black, I think. And then the red, and then the green.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna disagree with you, but now I see it. The black, that is.
Yeah, it's very thin, but I'm getting this gloss black through the primer. So there's 3 layers over the green. I might have to call an audible, switch my technique up here.
Put sandpaper on it.
Yeah, I might have to put some, yeah.
You gotta watch, Jeff.
You got any DA Sanders over there?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
See, you're getting through
I'm getting through
the green even. Yeah.
Better slow down on
Yeah, I'd be careful on the green. But I don't know that you're ever gonna get, you know what I mean? Like, it's never gonna be all green, I don't
What
think.
if you-
I could probably come in, if you get it down to like this, I can probably try and come in and take the red off the green. If you get the green peeking through. I lose, clearly. I got that black polished up nice though.
Yeah, I can see myself.
All right, so I'm clearly losing this battle. You can see how nice and glossy all this old paint looks though now. Just not quite as aggressive. So this is just much slower, having to work the panel a lot more. The metal's actually a little warm from working the paint. The Comet and the Scotch-Brite, very aggressive. We're doing its job. You can see Dad's already got it back to green here. This truck has been repainted, it looks like, at least twice. There's a primer, then a gloss black, then a red, then the original green color, and then we're even getting through down into some of the primer on the green. So the green paint may be a little thin already, probably why somebody went and tried to paint the truck red. Let's take a look how Jeff's doing here. Now, what I will say, it looks like, I'll give a wipe on this. It just depends. Because this is getting pretty clean here, but it's hard to tell if we're getting through to primer, if that's still stuff on top of the paint there. But both of these methods working much better than my method. The thing to do might be to get through to the green paint like this, then come back with the buffer and try and clean up all the red and all that stuff. Since it's a little bit less aggressive, we might be able to get rid of a little bit more of the red, keep a little bit more of the green before breaking through to primer on the truck. So either way, this is going to be a whole lot of work if we were to do the whole entire truck. So the three-man consensus here is that the Comet and the Scotch-Brite pads is the way to go. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do we want to try and scrub down this one side and see if we can buff it out, see what we can get it to look like?
Let me finish this up real quick and you can put the buffer to it.
Yeah. I think we all three use you got more Scotch-Brite, right?
Yeah, got a whole box right
Okay,
there.
I say all three of us go at it with the Scotch-Brite and the Comet. Kind of fun seeing the green come through.
It is.
Boy, it's actually a little deceiving how far you got until you rinse it off. I went through a lot of the green.
With the buffer or?
No, with this thing.
Yeah, I think I will too. Don't stop on your hat. Go ahead, come on down mine.
It seems like what I'm finding is once you cut through the
green,
black stuff,
yeah,
just there's
Black and the red.
the green goes very quickly.
yeah.
So it must have been pretty thin.
The green paint wasn't perfect. That's
No.
not why they covered it up.
Yep.
That's why they covered it
Why they covered it up. See, I got a lot of the red off,
Yeah.
but it just blows right through the
You'd be
green.
better off trying to.
So yeah, you can see we're getting through all the paint here. Emphasis on all, because pretty much the second you get through the red here, we're blowing right through down to the original black primer here. it's kind of a mess. It's had, we figured out that it's got the original green, this gloss red, then there was a gloss black on top of that, and then this dull primer on top of all that. So it's been repainted twice and was primed to be painted a third time. Thankfully, it didn't get to that point. Otherwise, we'd have yet another layer of paint to get rid of here. But with a little bit of elbow grease, you can see you can get rid of most of the resprays here and get down somewhat back to the original color, which is pretty neat. And man, this would have been an absolutely beautiful truck when it was brand new. Oh, yeah, turn that way down. I didn't think it was going to look good at all. Like, I thought it was going to look terrible, like more like that with the red in it. But if you get rid of the majority of the red, it really doesn't look awful. I mean, it depends on your style, I guess. All right, there's about 2.5 hours of 3 guys scrubbing on this panel and then buffing it out. I'm actually shocked we got most of the red off of this panel. Now, the green is so thin. We're really getting into like the scuffs. There's a lot, you see a lot of like sanding scratches and stuff like that. We were using really fine sandpaper on this, and I wouldn't expect to have really hard scratches like this from that. And then even over here, I noticed in some of the scratches, I might have been able to buff some of it out, but you can see red paint in the scratches. So that tells me that this thing was really roughly scratched up and then shot with red paint. Obviously, since we were able to do this, it wasn't a great paint job. We were able to strip a lot of that off. It didn't adhere super well. Now the question is, that was a lot of work. Do we continue on and do the rest of this truck? We are going to have to do some metal work on the bottom of this thing. You can see Dad started on the roof up here, and the roof is white. We could do something like a patina style truck like this, but the rockers and the lower panels are all going to end up getting repainted white most likely anyways below the trim line, because we're going to be replacing all that metal. So we could do kind of a faux patina white on the bottom, same thing on the roof, and try and keep as much of this original green paint as possible. I don't know. You guys let me know what you guys think. Was that a waste of time, or does the truck look a lot better? Actually, despite the fact that it's missing so much paint and you've got some of the red left, I think this looks 1,000 times better than the crummy primer job. Come around and look on the other side. It looks way better than that does. So if we decide to go that direction and scrub everything else out and buff the paint up, we could probably get it back to something looking like this. Now, this truck goes outside. There's a lot of bare metal. This is going to patina up as well. You're going to get flash rust on all the bare metal, and it'll give it that more natural patina look as well. So we've got yet another project truck here that we're going to have plenty of work to do on. So Jeff and Dad have been messing with the wiring, trying to figure out the headlights. And we don't really know a ton about, we're not experts on these old GMC or GM pickup trucks. And so we were looking for a headlight fuse, and we couldn't find one in the traditional spot, which if any of you know these trucks, you probably already know that there's a fusible link up by the battery, or as Jeff was able to find on Google, a breaker on the headlight switch. So we came over here, we found this little fuse holder here, and we thought, oh, well, maybe that's the headlight fusible link. We pop it open, and what do we find? But this piece of tin, right? Okay, so somebody had to get home one night, is my guess. So somebody had to get home one night, and this is a gum wrapper. This is a gum wrapper that somebody rolled up and used as their fuse for the headlights to get home. So we're gonna try and see if we can find a fuse to fit in here and see if that resolves our headlight issue. But I had to show you guys that because I've never seen that before. I've seen guys cut pennies apart and jam them in fuse switches. I've seen all kinds of different stuff. Never seen the old Wrigley spearmint used to fix the headlights. All right, so that's gonna do it for today's video. We just kind of had some fun playing around with the bed, tried to see what we could do with this paint. We did mess around with the brakes a little bit. We had no brakes before. We did go ahead and bleed the brakes, and we got a good pedal now. Everything looks good as far as no leaks or broken lines or anything like that. So that's one thing checked off the list. Now this thing can be driven around, at least in and out of the shop. But this is probably the last you guys are going to see of this truck for quite a while, because we still have to get to Jeff's Charger in the next coming weeks here, and we're also going to be working on Dad's Orange International, which is right through the door back there. So with all that said, guys, you know the deal. If you don't work on your projects, they will not work on themselves. Get out in the garage, get building. I'll see you on the next episode of Cody Builds.